A very good morning and welcome all of you to this daily news analysis for 11th of January 2025. So guys, in today's DNA, we are going to cover these topics, very interesting topics these are. And I have for the day incorporated one of the editorials that I had promised you yesterday. Is India ready for dual citizenship? As we all know that dual citizenship is going to be a challenging topic, but still, we will deal with it in the holistic manner today as much as possible. Now, another interesting issue in the today's news analysis is Supreme Court stays GST notices worth over 1 lakh on online gaming. Online gaming has been taxed at 28% under the GST. Notices were sent by the government in 2023 to the tune of 1,21,000 crore rupees. This would have been a bounty gain for the government, but now the Supreme Court has stayed it. Stay means a temporary, a momentary relief for all these online gaming companies. We come across a lot of advertisements in the newspapers these days, front page advertisements by these online gaming companies. Now we are going to understand this issue holistically in the sense that what do we mean by games of chance or games of skill, right? Now, is India open to the idea of, as I said earlier, this topic is very interesting and we are going to deal with all these topics in the holistic manner. Then this President Murmu's invite for this year's Republic Day reception is set to honor the GI tagged items or handicrafts from South India, right? Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Kanjivaram sarees or Kanjivaram silk pouch is being sent to the invitees for the Republic Day this year. We'll see a lot of art and culture items are there in this particular clipping. India-Singapore relations, Singapore PM to visit India. Right. So Singapore bilateral relations. This will cater to GS mains paper 2. I'm not able to see your of viewers. Anyways. Right. So this is there. Just allow me a moment to pull out the live stream. Yes. So these things are there. Then on China's dam in Tibet, India's rights have to be well guarded and well protected. This is what the minister has said. And these, I have carved out another news item out of this Inland Waterway Development Council's meeting. These two clippings were clubbed together. These two news items were clubbed together in today's newspaper. But we have segregated them in order for us to do justice with each aspect of this particular news. As I always say that you have to, I've said it multiple other forums, that you have to look for the trigger factor. Many of you have been asking as to how to cover the newspaper, how to see what is being asked in the UPSC examination. Go for the trigger factor. Yesterday I gave you an example. For example, the demise or the passing away of former Prime Minister of India, Dr. Manmohan Singh. That becomes the trigger factor for UPSC to ask a question around LPG reforms. How have LPG reforms brought about in 1992 served us in India? Have they lived up to the purpose? Have they uplifted people out of poverty? What was the percentage share of public sector enterprises in the GDP of India before LPG reforms and after LPG reforms? What was the contribution of agriculture to GDP before LPG reforms and after LPG reforms, right? So this is how you can see the demise becomes the trigger factor. The death of the former Prime Minister becomes the trigger factor. I had given certain other examples. Indra Kumar Gujral, when he passed away around 2012, Gujral doctrine was asked by UPSC in the 2012 UPSC mains examination. During that time, there were two papers, GS paper 1 and GS paper 2. So this is how you can identify the incidents. If let's say UPSC chairperson is giving some speech on Civil Services Day, you have to identify the elements out of that speech which could be presented in the ethics paper. Ethics, probity, if he has said something on corruption, likewise. Okay. Constitution Day, President of India speech. So as we proceed along these DNA classes, the endeavor of me as a teacher would not only be to just give you the passive learning. Okay, this is something like everybody else is doing, but our element would not be, but our approach here would not only be to enable you with the current affairs, but to empower you. Empowering means like you should be on your own after 6 to 8 months. You should be able to identify topics. Okay, so let's move further without much ado. Then this economy industrial output grew at 5.2% in November. What do we mean by index of industrial production? The factual part of it, that 40.27% weightage is given to these core industries, okay, in the index of industrial production. Now the remaining 59.63 depends upon these 8 core industries in the IIP. Then I am going to correlate purchasing managers index with IIP and then IIP with quarterly GDP data, how they feed into each other. This is how UPSC has been asking questions. So we'll see how can we do justice with this particular news clipping. Why rupee is depreciating? Okay, why rupee fell by 18 paisa? What was the reason? So we'll see to that. Let's begin without much ado. So here, Supreme Court stays notices worth over 1 lakh crore against online gaming firms for tax fraud. Okay, so government said that the GST, the online gaming companies haven't paid their share of GST at the rate of 28% as was supposed to be paid by them. So government had issued, this is the background of it, in October 2023, government had issued these GST notices asking them to pay up. But rather than paying up, these companies said that why are we supposed to pay on the whole bounty amount? Let's say in Kaun Banega Crorepati, if somebody earns 1 crore rupees in the KBC or in the state government lottery, they are supposed to pay 28% and then 30% tax on the complete amount, 1 crore rupees, right? Same has been applied to the online gaming companies, but they are saying that they should be made to pay GST of 28% on only the service charges that they are levying, okay, that they are charging. Let's say if you are playing the game worth rupees 10,000 and the company is charging you 1500 rupees, then the gaming company is saying that they should be made to pay 28% GST on only this thing, your 1500 rupees, the charges. Got it? I'll give you another example. If we come across the advertisements in the newspaper for astrology applications also. Astrotech is an also growing area, Astrotalk or Astro Yogi, these applications. If you recharge for 100 rupees, let's say, you are made to pay a GST of 18% on 100 rupees, right? So 18% GST on Astrotalk or etc. That is, there is also an element of chance. Astrotalk, astrology predictions may or may not turn out to be true. Same is the case with gaming. So they are saying, first thing, that GST is being charged at a very exorbitant rate. That is the highest of the highest rates in GST, 28%. Second, it is being charged on the entire amount, which the gaming companies say is illogical or unjustified a demand, right? Now the notices have been sent from retrospective effect, from backdate. These are the problems. Now this is the background of it. 28% GST would be levied on the full value of bets. Please jot this, note this down. Okay, full value of bets instead of being levied on just the service charges or the platform fee that these online gaming companies charge. Got it? The Supreme Court last year allowed up it now against the central government's diktat of online companies required to pay 28% GST. Cases were filed against the central government in 9 high courts. Okay, 9 high courts, Punjab, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka. All these cases were clubbed and central government filed a petition that for the sake of convenience, central government be allowed to deal with these issues at New Delhi Supreme Court only, rather than the Attorney General of India visiting all these high courts in one after the other. It's better that these petitions be clubbed. Okay, so now the momentary relief has come for these online gaming companies, that now stay has been ordered by the Supreme Court, that there would be no further proceeding on this matter by the income tax, by the GST department, right? The result, many online gaming firms like Games 24/7, Head Digital Works and the Federation of Indian Fantasy Sports had moved the Supreme Court, right? Now you understood this matter. I want to add another element of understanding over here. Many online gaming firms, like they moved the court for challenging the GST implementation. Now, what is happening here is, see, these games are of two categories: games of skill and games of chance. Pure gamble. Now, Supreme Court has said that those gambling activities where there is complete, where the game is of complete chance, okay, luck, those things should be banned in India. Betting or gambling, that is banned. But there are games of skill, like an Indian winning chess championship, right? So that is a game of skill where there's a skill involved. For those activities, there is permission in India. That is, these activities, these games of skills are permitted in India. There is a separate judgment dealing with legality or illegality of what kind of games are permitted in India and what kind of games are not permitted. Now we can draw a leaf out of that particular judgment of Supreme Court insofar as taxation, the differentiated taxation of these gaming activities is concerned. Can't we tax the games of skill at 18%? Right? After all, they are involving some skill only. Application of mind is required. Here, these are games of pure chance. To discourage the sin goods, evil goods, you understand what are evil goods? Liquor, cigarette, they are charged at a higher rate of GST or any other thing, right? Like luxury cars are there, diesel guzzlers. So they are charged at 28% plus surcharge of 15% so as to wean people away, so as to dissuade people from buying these goods. Similarly, games of chance, which are like gamble totally, they should be charged at a higher rate of GST, and games of skill, they should be charged at a lower level. This is just my suggestion for the purpose of our examination only. The matter is sub judice, since Supreme Court has just granted a stay for the moment for it to study the matter further in detail, right? Now, on the balance industry implications, this is a sunrise sector. What do we mean by sunrise? Sunrise means a rising sector that can give employment to the people, that can generate avenues of economic growth for the country. Now, on the balance, taking a neutral stance, the outcome of this case will define the taxation framework of the online gaming industry in India. The online gaming industry has been seeing a constant growth for a few years. Clarity on the tax framework will in a way be good for this thing, right? Got it? NYT animations, it is already in detail, I suppose. We have covered every aspect of it, right? If you want further details, let me know in the comment section. Don't worry. If you feel that I have missed out on any aspect of it, do let me know. Otherwise, I mean, this is sufficient. What we have covered is every aspect of it. The outcome of this case will also outline a distinction between gambling and skill-based games. Got it? So this is there, right? Now, topic related glossary, NRI. Here, is India open to the idea of dual citizenship? What do we mean by dual citizenship? The matter came to light about some film stars like Akshay Kumar holding the citizenship of Canada as well as India. This is patently unconstitutional, illegal, because one Indian citizen can hold the citizenship of India only. Article 5 is very clear on this matter, that if any person holds the citizenship of any other country apart from India, then he would be supposed to have given upon the citizenship of India. Got it? Now this is there. So now NRIs or non-resident Indians are Indian nationals who hold Indian passports. But we have to first understand, before we jump into the topic of dual citizenship, what is the difference between NRIs, PIOs and OCIs? Non-resident Indians, persons of Indian origin, and overseas citizens of India. So let us distinguish between NRIs living abroad and people of Indian origin. NRIs are Indian nationals who are staying abroad for a period of 6 months, and they even hold who are staying abroad for a period of up to 6 months. That is why usually the tourist visa that is granted by India to visit other countries is of a duration of not more than 6 months, 180 days maximum, right? Now, rights. What are the rights of NRIs? They have all the rights as are granted to any citizen of India except the right to vote. Because if somebody is staying outside India, there are no provisions as yet for them to vote. Even though some nascent steps were taken by the Ministry of External Affairs along with Ministry of Home Affairs and Election Commission of India to make some provisions for voting from outside India, right? However, they are at a very nascent stage. This is the meaning of NRI, right? Now, NRIs, as I've dealt with it already, this seems to be a duplication here. Why this idea of dual citizenship has come to light now? Why this is being debated? Because our foreign minister had made an off-the-cuff remark that India is considering this dual citizenship. Why? Because many Indian citizens, many NRIs or PIOs or overseas citizens of India have made their dent, have made their mark in the US. Some of them are governors, some of them are eminent industrialists like the owner of this Vedanta group, right, in Britain, Lakshmi Nivas Mittal. So we want them to come back to India, or we want them to not to completely sever their ties with India. If they would stay connected to the roots, that is India, they would inadvertently, or they would feel more to invest in India in one way or the other. Right. So that is the reason that this idea of dual citizenship is being considered by India. But having learned from the history, the lessons like the the man behind the 26/11 attack on Mumbai, okay, he was a Canadian, David Coleman Headley. He visited India on a tourist visa and he did the recce of the entire Mumbai Taj Hotel and passed it on to Pakistan. Right. So these are the dangers, because if we confer, this editorial says that if we confer the citizenship on somebody who happens to be the citizen of another country, that creates an element of doubtful loyalty. Citizenship is a matter of loyalty. If I am a citizen of India, I am loyal to India. I am eligible to appear in civil services, IAS, IPS, IRS, and I am even eligible to become the president of the country, prime minister of the country, or member of parliament of the country, right? But if somebody is a dual citizenship, how can we say that his allegiance towards India is more than his allegiance towards the other country that he is holding the citizenship of? Getting my point? So this is what the writer is saying. Remember guys, we as UPSC aspirants, we are not supposed to have our own prejudices. We are supposed to be neutral. Neutral, I mean, we are supposed to be having both the sets of the arguments. Arguments in favor, arguments against. We should not be bothered about what is my opinion. I am in favor because you are nobody. You are just going to be a cog in the machine of civil services of India. We are from UPSC. If you ask us to justify or convert the day into night, we can do that. And if you ask us to do vice versa, convert the night into day, we have to do that through our arguments. So always be neutral, always toe a neutral line and address the demand of the question. In order for you to do that, you need to have both the sets of arguments handy, right? So through this article, this person who has written the editorial, he says that he is against the idea of dual citizenship because of loyalty factor. Who would a citizen of two countries be loyal to? He would be loyal to India or France if he's a citizen of France or UK. Got it? So distinction between NRIs living abroad and people of Indian origin. NRI, like he happens to visit another country for 6 months. As I told already, PIO and OCI card holders are not citizens but people who want to stay connected and involved with India more closely. They are OCI card holders are not the citizens. They are not the citizens because they have given upon the citizenship of India. They hold the citizenship of some other country, but they want to stay connected to their roots. Like if some of you have watched movies like Namaste London or Swadesh movie, right? So people hold the allegiance to their motherland. So that is why they want to stay connected. What is the benefit of India in them staying connected to India? They would bring investment, they would bring remittances. Okay, so these are the benefits of them staying connected to India. Now, PIO card was, this scheme was first implemented in 2002 during Atal Bihari Vajpayee sir's tenure as the Prime Minister. So as to benefit foreign nationals who could establish at least a third generation tie. Third generation, for example, if their grandfather, father, and they themselves, got it? Third generation tie. If their grandfather happened to be the citizen of India, then they could get the OCI or PIO card. Got it? Third generation. If my grandfather happened to be the example only, if my grandfather happened to be the citizen of India, but I am a citizen of USA, then I can establish my roots to India and can gain PIO or OCI card. Got it? OCI card was implemented in 2005, carried more benefits than the PIO. So here, overseas citizens of India, in a way, during the Pravasi Bharati Divas held in January, month of January, it happens every year, Pravasi Bharati Divas, okay, to celebrate, to in a way acknowledge the contributions of India's foreign diaspora towards India. In 2005 January, they were elevated to the PIOs were elevated to the status of OCI, but it created a lot of confusion because the word citizenship, the writer says the word citizenship should be conferred very, very carefully. Now, this is valid for holders lifetime. OCI card was to be valid for holders lifetime, unlike the PIO card, which was valid for only 5 years. Because of the problems in granting this OCI status and the ambiguity around the term, PIO scheme was withdrawn by the government and was merged with OCI. So now we have only two things, NRI and OCI. And that is why we differentiated between two. PIO scheme has now been merged. Okay. So NRI, in nutshell, this is a snapshot of it. You can revise it. I've incorporated a lot of mind maps kind of things in this today's flow charts and all, so that you can easily memorize or revise things as per your convenience. For PDF, visit the pinned comment of this YouTube stream. Okay, so you can download the PDF from the official Telegram channel of PW Only IAS English. Indian nationals. NRIs are Indian nationals who hold Indian passports and they are visiting any other country for a period of not more than 6 months maximum. Okay, if anybody happens to be in the other country for a period of more than 180 plus days, precisely it is 182 days, okay, then he would be considered to be the resident of that country. And there is a difference between citizenship and resident for the purpose of taxation. Okay, resident, the term resident is defined in the Income Tax Act 1961, which means that if anybody is staying outside India for a period of 182 plus days, his income would not be taxable in India, his income would be taxable in that country. Got it? So you have to differentiate between a citizen and a resident. We are going to see further differences between a person domiciled in India but not a citizen of India in the next few slides. Now, all the rights that accrue to Indian, they are entitled to, NRIs are entitled to all the rights that accrue to Indian nationals. Got it? Let me just see your comments and other things. Guys, request you all to please be live and join at 8 a.m. in the morning itself. How it helps you? It helps you in the manner that the major task of the day, which needs to be done on a daily basis, that is reading the newspaper, is taken care of right in the morning itself. Okay, it gives you the positive start for the day also. So if you join in the morning itself, it helps you in more ways than one. Your newspaper pendency rate comes down, I would say. This is just a suggestion. And yesterday I had asked a few questions which none of you had answered. Okay, that discourages me from incorporating questions. If you want me to incorporate questions and further enrich your DNA with these kind of slides and mind maps and flow charts, you have to play your part. Otherwise, as I said earlier, learning cannot be a one-way road. Right? Now, they, however, cannot exercise the right to vote. PIOs, on the other hand, are not Indian nationals. They are not Indian nationals because they hold the citizenship of other country. Some other country they hold the citizenship of. Therefore, they do not have political rights. 2015 PIO scheme was merged with OCI. Now PIO is equal to OCI. Rather, OCI is equal to PIO. OCI scheme subsumed PIO scheme. Got it? Now, Merging of PIO with OCI, this is what we've dealt with through the medium of that flowchart. Issues to consider. Now the writer says, what are the issues that you need to consider before granting dual citizenship to any citizen of India? That means a citizen of India would be holding the citizenship of another country at the same time, which is currently not permissible as per the Constitution of India. So again, another flowchart has come up. See, Article 5, which is the basis of citizenship in Indian Constitution, says that a person can gain the citizenship of India by virtue of being born in India. If somebody is born in India, yes, Doraemon, these classes are enough. Like the Doraemon in the TV program, your question seems to be quite cute, like your DP or the profile pic that you put on the Google ID. Now, by parentage, if one of the parents of a person happens to be the citizen of India, or grandparentage, as we have seen, like third generation and all, right? By acquiring it after having remained in India, after having remained a resident of India for 14 years, those conditions are there that we will deal with in a separate lecture. Very soon we are going to start with a polity series, Udan series, to help you cover polity, the prelims part of polity for upcoming 2025 prelims. We will be releasing the initiative in a few days from now. I'll be taking up polity in that. Okay, so Article 5 is the roadblock to granting dual citizenship, right? Why? Because Article 5 needs to be amended in case the government of the day decides to go ahead with the idea of dual citizenship. We need to amend Article 5, constitutional roadblock in the way of granting dual citizenship. Then there is the Supreme Court judgment of 1955, Madhya Bharat case. DP Joshi versus Madhya Bharat case. Supreme Court drew a distinction between domicile and domiciled in India. Domicile means somebody who has stayed in India for a period of 5 plus 14 years. That eligibility criteria is there for anybody to gain Indian citizenship. DP Joshi said that he has stayed in India, he is domiciled in India for the X number of years. But Supreme Court said that being domiciled in India does not automatically confer upon a person the right to gain citizenship. Right? So the judgment of the Supreme Court comes in the way of it. Right? That needs to be overcome. Can we overcome the judgment of the Supreme Court through a parliamentary law? Yes. If the parliament passes a law contrary to the judgment of the Supreme Court, that judgment of the Supreme Court can be nullified. Got it? Now, third thing, the dual citizenship thing. We have amended the Citizenship Act of 1955 only in 2019, the major amendment. Why was the amendment brought about? To grant the citizenship to those minorities of India, Buddhists, Christians, who are being persecuted in the foreign land, be it in Bangladesh or the beloved Pakistan. Got it? To fast track the process of minorities from certain neighboring countries to be allowed to take Indian citizenship. So we have allowed them to take Indian citizenship provided they give upon the citizenship of the country they were being persecuted in. If the Rohingyas, let's say if some of the Hindus in Bangladesh, they were being persecuted in Rohingya Hindus, we are talking about. Rohingyas are divided into Hindus and Muslims. Okay, Rohingyas belong to both the religions. So if the Hindu Rohingyas come to India on the grounds of persecution, on the grounds of the fact that they are being beaten in Bangladesh, they are being targeted by military junta of Myanmar, likewise. Okay, so they would be assumed to have given upon the citizenship of the previous country they were living in, Bangladesh or Myanmar or Nepal or any other country for that matter, right? So these are the instances we need to consider before thinking of going ahead with the idea of dual citizenship, is what the writer is saying here, right? Now, writers caution that we should not allow people to have citizenship of both the countries, both India and another country, because that would confer political rights. See, this is the flowchart that once you have gone through this paragraph, this flowchart is enough for you to memorize and revise things from. Getting my point? If you refer to this flowchart after having gone through this news analysis once, this is going to be a friend in the sense that dual citizenship grants political rights. Granting political rights to those whose loyalties are divided. That means if somebody happens to be the citizen of India and one more country, how can we say that he is loyal to India only? Political rights. What kind of political rights we are conferring upon the citizens? Right to contest elections. They would be sitting in parliament, right, or legislative assembly of a state. Now they would be deciding for the matters of people of India. They would be representing the people of India, even as their own loyalties towards India are doubtful. Can we say that they are 100% loyal to India? Maybe they are serving the interest of the foreign nationals in India, foreign country in India, right? So, right to appear in IAS exam, Indian Administrative Service. Got it? So, these political rights are to be very, very cautiously conferred. The rights that a citizen gains by virtue of him being a citizen of India have to be conferred, have to be given upon the people very, very cautiously. Now, divided loyalties, again, now there is another interesting paragraph to it. Why are we now considering the idea of dual citizenship? Trump presidency has several Indian origin people as well as first generation Indian immigrants who will hold public office. They say that in USA, this paragraph is saying that in the USA, in the Donald Trump's presidency, there are many people of Indian origin who are going to hold public office. So when the US is allowing them the public office, the office of member of parliament, like say, let's say in India, that stature of governor of a state in the USA is being held by an Indian. But the writer says that they are, after all, the citizens of the USA. Even though they are of Indian origin, nonetheless, they are citizens of USA. So we should not forget the fact that if any person of Indian origin, Australian origin, or any British, if he is holding the public office means office of any government authority in the US, first of all, he is a citizen of the US. He has gained the citizenship of US, and then only he is being given that public office. He is become eligible for that public office. Do you think that for certain communities, and now the writer was asked the question that for certain communities and certain kinds of, now here we are talking about double standards. I've written here very carefully, this word has been chosen, dual citizenship with double standards. What this writer is saying that, the writer is being asked about is that, can we give dual citizenship to a select number of people who are better than others, who are employable globally? For example, Indira Nui, for example, Satya Nadella, right? Indira Nui has been the CEO of PepsiCo. PepsiCo is the company, Pepsi cold drinks, right? Is the company based out of the USA. It is registered company in the USA, right? So these people who are better than others, can we in India consider to confer citizenship on the select number of people only? Right? Constitution talks about equality. Nonetheless, Parliament of the day can, questions are there in the current affairs. Okay, questions have been put at the last. There are 3-4 questions. So better answer them. Priti Sharma and others, I direct you all to answer the questions. Right now, can we give dual citizenship to only these people who are better than others, who represent the Indian cause in the other country? Okay, so here the writer says that, why are we thinking of this idea that some people who are better than others, who are more eligible, who are more competent than others, what benefit would India get by providing them the dual citizenship? Ignore others, ignore the poor. This is what USA does by giving the green card by giving the citizenship to those who are excellent in IT, who are excellent in fields of money, etc. This is what Britain is doing by giving citizenship to Vijay Mallya, Nirav Modi, because these are influential people. Okay, so the writer has been put a question. Writer is being asked the question that, okay, dual citizenship to everybody cannot be given. But can we consider dual citizenship only for a select number of people who are influential in terms of power, money, who are the CEOs or better techies than others like Satya Nadella or others, right? So the writer answers the question. The benefit that India will get from this type of dual citizenship, double standard based dual citizenship, is that on the economic side, India would be able to attract FDI, which is still acceptable. But on the political side, constitution is sacrosanct. Again, Article 5 has to be amended. Second, writer has used a very good, very interesting term here in the Karl Marxist theory. Karl Marx, we all know. In the Karl Marxist theory, there is a term called comprador class. Marxists used to call a comprador class, that is a class of people who will act as foreign agents in India. Like in the British era, what was happening? That comprador class was retained after India got independence in the form of civil servants, in the form of Anglo-Indians in the Parliament of India. They were representing the cause of Britishers who stayed back in India, right? Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel had to admit to their demand that okay, they will be given 2 seats. 2 seats would be reserved for them in the Parliament of India, in the Lok Sabha, right? Now, Marx said that comprador class will be a class of people who will act as foreign agents. Now, what is the guarantee that Satya Nadella or these people would come to India, Indira Nooyi, etc.? They would stay back in India. They would hold the dual citizenship of India and USA, and still they would not represent the interest of the country, the other country, USA, in the Parliament of India, in whatever they do in India, right? So, comprador class, you give them the right to vote to elect members of parliament and legislative assemblies. That is a sure way to recolonizing India. Again, they would be a citizen of USA. They would get elected to, let's say, parliament as member of parliament. They would ask those questions which benefit the US. We have seen cash for vote scam, where the votes were being cast by the members of parliament, Indian parliament, to represent the cause of the industry, right, to benefit industry. Now, how can we say that the outside citizens who will be given the citizenship of India will not do the same to India? What is the guarantee that they would represent the cause of only the Indians, we the people of India? Maybe they would represent the cause of France, Italy. Doubts are cast on Sonia Gandhi's credibility as well, right? That she happens to be an Italian. How can we say that if she becomes the prime minister or if she is running the Congress party, she is working in a manner contrary to the Indian interests? Got it? So that kind of a comprador class criticism, this is a criticism of dual citizenship. Got it? So writer is again saying no to double standards based dual citizenship. Yeah. Now, what is the way out? What is the alternative here? The way out is people who wanted India to make to make India as their home, okay, they relinquished their earlier citizenship and became the citizens of India. Examples, you see, known as the mother, this lady Mira Alfaza, right? So she is known as the mother whose work inspired many and founded the Aurobindo Ashram in Puducherry, became the Indian citizenship despite her earlier campaign for dual citizenship. So the mother, then your name that does not deserve any kind of, that does not require any kind of, pardon me for this slip of tongue, that name that does not require any kind of introduction, Mother Teresa, right? Then Jean Dries, economist Jean Dries, he in the past had spearheaded the movement for RTI, passing RTI in India. He was earlier a Belgian citizen. Now he is a social economist in India. Right to food in India, Manrega reform, etc., has been spearheaded by him along with other Indians like Amartya Sen, many other eminent Indians, right? Basically, civil society he is representing. So they, when wanted to become, when wanted to make India their home, they had given upon their previous citizenship, be it of Belgium, US, and other countries, right? Now, we hold US in glory in the sense that we say that USA, which might seem to be more, we say that USA is giving dual citizenship, so we in India should also do this. So dual citizenship is not good because of the ground that is doubtful loyalty, double sided loyalty. Okay. In US, which might seem to be the template of dual citizenship, flexibility, the fact is that you cannot become the president. Even Elon Musk, who happens to be very popular, very capable, he's contributed immensely to the economy of India. He cannot aspire to be the president of India because he is a South African, right? So this is there. Now coming to the other interesting news article, topic relevance is going to be art and culture. The invitation that is being sent by the President's House for this year's Republic Day parade, unlike the convention of sending the lion capital of Ashoka, okay, a stiff white card earlier was sent with the lion capital of Ashoka. Unlike the convention, this time around, what they are sending is art in box. Some GI tagged items from Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh have been sent along with this card to commemorate 75 years, right? So this is called the invite for at home. At home means President's House. The invitees are being sent this pack of gifts along with the convention of sending the card embossed with national emblem, right? Now see here, what are these items? UPSC, for our purpose, these items are important for prelims as well as mains. The elements of the invitation include a box made of bamboo weave with kalamkari paintings. You see this box is there. Atop this box lid, you see kalamkari painting. Now, Ikat Pochampalli, the cover. This is a cover that can be used even after the box has been dismantled. So this Pochampalli Ikat from GI tagged items, right? Now, the third item that is being sent along with the invitation is a fridge magnet, like the magnet that you put on your refrigerator to hold the sticky notes, etc. So, this is Mysore's Ganjifa art. Now, you can get a question, Ganjifa art belongs to which of the following states? Okay, these juxtaposed items opposite to the word could be Odisha, Mysore, etc. You have to identify, be prepared. Now, I'll be incorporating a few questions in tomorrow's daily news analysis class from the study that we are doing of these items. So be prepared, memorize them. How else should I help you? I've made your task easier in the sense that items have been juxtaposed to their explanation. Now, your only task is to memorize them, to make notes out of them, download the PPT, whatever way suits you. Okay, so I'm coming up with the small tips every day as to how to read the newspaper. See guys, I've written a few tips for you while I was coming for this class. What to focus on in the newspaper. While reading the newspaper, you have to focus on anything that is conceptual, analytical, relational or causational. Okay. So conceptual part. This is the tip of the day, I would say, as to how to read the newspaper for UPSC or state PSC examination. Concepts remain the same. They are evergreen. If you learn a concept that what if more FDI comes to India, it will lead to inflation. Conceptual part is easy to retain. Once you get hold of the concept, it will come along with you for the ages, right? Then comes the analytical part. UPSC is more interested in the analytical part these days insofar as questions of economy, questions of society are concerned, right? What is going to be the impact of same-sex marriages? Analysis. Now, the previous question that we saw, previous news item that we saw for the day, GST on games of skill or GST on games of chance. Analytical. Focus on conceptual items, analytical items, relational items. What are relational items? Anything that you can correlate with. President's invitation has been sent. It has been linked with GI tagged items, handicrafts, right? Artifacts. So, relational, you can relate it to something else. Then comes your last part, that is causational. If anything causes anything else in return. If more growth causes what? More inflation, more money in the hands of people. One thing leads to another, causational, right? So these are the trigger. Then there is a trigger factor part to it. Prime Minister Manmohan Singh's death could become a trigger for UPSC to ask a question around LPG reforms or economic reforms of India, liberalization, privatization and globalization reforms. Okay, so anything that is analytical, anything that is conceptual, analytical, relational or causational deserves your attention in the newspaper reading. Causational items are asked for factual part, like this thing is there. Relational items, as I said, your LPG reforms or something that happened in the history can be correlated. For example, we are in 2024. What happened in 1924? The relation of centenary year of 1924 with 2024. Relational item. Focus on these items while reading the newspaper. Now, a handmade pouch made of Kanjivaram silk from Tamil Nadu. These are the items you should memorize. Again, Etikopaka dolls from Andhra Pradesh. These dolls, again, match the following type of question can be expected. A male and a female doll are included along with a bookmark made of screw pine leaves woven by artisans from Kerala. Screw pine bookmark, leaf, Kerala. Right. Now, another topic, India-Singapore relations. Yesterday, we talked about Strait of Malacca. We talked about Changi Naval Base. Right. Changi Naval Base access has been given to India. India constructed Changi Naval Base, or in fact renovated, so as to counter the Chinese overtures in the area. Strait of Malacca, let us have a look at it. First of all, here is Singapore, Strait of Malacca. This is it, right? Changi sea base, naval base constructed or renovated by India. So India is in a way taking the Singapore's help so as to maintain rule of law, or what to say, international UN clause that is there, United Nations Convention on Law of Sea. To uphold that Convention on Law of Sea, India and Singapore are collaborating, because Singapore is a very small city state. It is a nation state, but of the size of a city. It requires the aid or kind collaboration with India in order for Singapore to protect its own sovereign interests in the freedom of navigation in the South China Sea area. That is why India has now control over this Strait of Malacca thanks to the cooperation with Singapore. When we study, another tip for the day or how to read the newspaper, when we study the bilateral relations or international relations, bilateral relations between the two countries, we have to study them under the headings like defense ties. This will corroborate with your defense ties. Neighborhood de-escalation. In today's news article, I have covered the role being played by Singapore in de-escalating the scenario in Myanmar. Singapore was providing military aid to the military junta that is currently at the helm of affairs in Myanmar. In a way, the Singapore was providing military equipment to Myanmar army. Now it has stopped providing that military aid. In the neighborhood of India, Bangladesh, Myanmar, especially Myanmar, Singapore is playing a constructive role on the lines expected by India. Got it? Then technology, we are going to collaborate with Singapore in terms of in the area of semiconductor development. Okay, critical technologies, lithium ion, etc., lithium batteries. We are collaborating with Singapore on that front also. P2P skill center. Singapore is toying with the idea of or thinking of it has already constructed a skill center in Odisha. The Prime Minister of Singapore is going to visit India on the 60th anniversary of Singapore. Okay, let me start from the background now. Now that I've told you how to analyze the bilateral relations, how to write an answer on the bilateral relations, so let us see what is there in this clipping that we can use while writing an answer on India-Singapore relations. Singapore has usually tied up with Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra and Karnataka states of India. Latest focus on Odisha and Assam are a part of its reorientation to broaden the range of partnership in India. Okay, Gujarat, these states which are good in business, business hubs of India, already Singapore was maintaining good ties with these states. Now the focus is shifting from these states to Odisha and Assam. Right, thanks to the Northeastern diplomacy, Act East Asia policy. Time is 8 a.m. sharp, 8:03. It happens late by 2 or 3 minutes only. Right now, Odisha focus of Singapore is an expression of its government's interest in setting up projects and collaborate there. During the stay in Odisha, when he is going to visit India on January 16, 17, 15 to 17 January, Singapore Prime Minister would be visiting India. He will visit a vaccine manufacturing plant of Bharat Biotech. Tour the World Skill Center supported by Singapore's Institute of Technical Education Service. So make a note on it. Just make a small note. India-Singapore collaborations 2025. There could be more visits in the coming year, coming months, but we can start with the month of January. Right? So what areas of collaboration have been identified in this news article today? You can memorize them. You can jot them down. Airline slots. So what are these airline slots? Countries on a mutual reciprocatory basis, like India will give some slots to Singapore and Singapore will reciprocate. So some slots were given by India to Singapore and Singapore to India. So those slots have been fully utilized by Singapore. When the Singaporeans come to India, they require air slots, seats in the aircraft, right? Those slots are fully utilized by Singaporeans, citizens of Singapore while they come to India. But the slots allotted by the Singapore government to India for the use of Indians visit to Singapore, they remain underutilized. That is one area of cooperation they are working. What does this signify? People to people ties, right? Another element could be added to it. Air India, when it was acquired by Tatas, it was, there was some element of collaboration with Singapore Airlines also, SIA. So this is another deal that has been logged already. Now, Singapore has fully utilized, this is done. Semiconductor. Singapore is gearing up to set up training centers for semiconductor related work. So India could share the technical know-how of semiconductors along with Singapore. Co-development or something can happen, right? Also, the projects in the realm of critical technologies and critical mineral-based items like lithium battery. Just a small correction out there. Okay, so these things are there. India, Singapore taken care of. Now, coming to our another beloved neighbor, China. China is constructing a dam on Brahmaputra River, which would deprive India's northeastern states and then further onwards Bangladesh of its water needs. Okay, so Brahmaputra River, known as Yarlung Tsangpo in China, here it is. China is thinking of constructing reservoir dam. Reservoir dams means a dam which will in a way, store the lakhs of gallons of water from Brahmaputra River. These type of reservoir dams take years to fill up. Until it is filled up fully, the flow of water to the lower riparian states of India would come down. Okay, this is called as MEDOG project. MEDOG. MEDOG project. Proposed Chinese dam could generate up to 60 gigawatts of electricity, nearly triple that of the Three Gorges Dam of China, the world's largest dam. Okay, so 3 times that of the Gorges Dam, Three Gorges Dam. Got it? Now, the problem here is India could respond by building 10 gigawatt dam in Arunachal Pradesh on Siang River. Where is Siang River? Arunachal Pradesh. Take a note of this name, Siang River. Indian state largely claimed by China as South Tibet. Let us have a look at the time, guys. So, this is there. Got it? The dam is to be built on river in Medog County of Tibet. This is a small province of Tibet, you can say, where it drops by 2000 meters. So the steep fall of 2000 meter would help China install a lot of turbines. These turbines, when splashed with a gush of water, will move at a rapid speed. With the movement of turbines, electricity would be generated. Got it? So they would be able to generate a lot of electricity. Movement of turbines, the steeper the fall of the water, the steeper the fall in the height, the more is the scope of generation of electricity. That is what China is trying to tap. But this would be disadvantageous for India and Bangladesh. This is one of the topics, this is one of the elements of this news issue that was highlighted in a summit yesterday, which was chaired by India's water minister. On the sidelines of this, Inland Waterway Development Council, which is presided over by Mr. Sonowal. The Inland Waterways Authority of India announced investment. So the main issue was Inland Waterways Development Council's meeting, on the sidelines of which our minister talked about China's dam thing, right? So we have covered China's dam thing. Name of river, Siang River. Name of dam that China is constructing, it is called as Meadog project. Scope of the project is that it would be able to generate 60 gigawatts of energy for China, which is 3 times the energy generated by the Three Gorges Dam, which is the world's largest dam, right? Now coming to this part, why are inland waterways important? Recently, we came across an incident which took hundreds of lives in Rajasthan, Jaipur, where a tanker, Indian Oil Corporation or BPCL tanker, that was taking a U-turn on the highway, carrying 18 gallons or 18 quintals or tons of gas, 18,000 tons of gas, and it was hit by another truck, leading to a massive accident, right? Tragic accident, wherein hundreds of people got burnt on the highway. There was a committee named as Rakesh Mohan Committee on Multimodal Transport in 2014. That committee highlighted that India is the only country where gas tankers are plying on the roads along with Tata Nanos. Big tankers on the same roads on which small cars are plying. And this leads to wastage of economic resources also. Why? Because these tankers, the gas being transported, the oil being transported through these tankers could very well be transported through inland waterways or underground pipelines. Herein comes handy, while we are dealing with this news clipping, I'll share some clippings of Rakesh Mohan Committee, the multimodal transport, the salient recommendations of Rakesh Mohan Committee on multimodal transport will be shared on the Telegram channel today. Do subscribe to that Telegram channel, the link of which would be shared by the team today in the description of this YouTube stream, right? YouTube video that we are doing here. So this is there. Now, inland waterways. How many inland waterways are there? What has been done in this meeting? Inland Waterway Development Council, it was constituted in 2023. First of all, the background check, the institution check, right? Over 23,000 crore rupees has been earmarked for the development of new national waterways and green shipping initiatives. Why the word green? Green here, this waterway transport, inland waterway transport has got a very less carbon footprint when compared with other conventional modes of transport. Trucks consume diesel, petrol, right? Railways, again, electricity generated through thermal power, thermal coal-based power plants. But waterways, we are using the natural kinetic energy or natural source of energy to propel the ships, the jetties, etc. So first edition of I got it. This is the importance of inland waterways. Cheaper, economical with less carbon footprint. Now, major takeaways of the second IWDC meet. Riverine Community Development Scheme. We are going to study this Riverine Community Development Scheme in the next slide. So stay tuned. Don't worry. Everything has been covered. Every single important word, scheme will be taken care of in the news analysis itself. So 1,000 green vessels to be launched in the next 5 years. Second IWDC, decisions taken by the council. Expansion of Kochi's water metro project to 15 cities of India, including Guwahati. Ship repair facility, fourth one, ship repair facilities to be established at more national waterways. 62 new jetties across states to ramp up inland waterway transport. 62 new jetties across the states. Quick pontoon opening mechanism. Pontoon opening mechanism is when some waterway gets blocked because of deposition of sand, etc. Right? So this mechanism to be installed at all operational national waterways for seamless passenger movement, as well as 8 amphibian dredgers. Dredgers are something that help in unblocking the blocked waterway because of silt deposition, etc. Okay, dredging machines have been made a part of this inland waterway development program named as the Riverine Community Development Scheme, etc. Okay, so the decisions that have been taken also include the methods to desilt. Right. Now, Riverine Community Development Scheme features. What are these features of this scheme that was unveiled yesterday in the IWDC summit? To improve the socio-economic well-being of coastal communities, the fishermen that are dependent on the waterways, promotion of trade and tourism along the riverine ecosystem, providing skill enrichment training and upgrading the traditional knowledge of river of the communities. These are the components of Riverine Community Development Scheme. Now, major waterways, download the PDF, National Waterway 1, Bhagirathi. At least be thorough with the routes of National Waterway 1 to National Waterway 5. If not possible, at least be thorough with the routes of the major passage routes of National Waterway 1 and 2. Questions have been asked in prelims. Okay, so since this meeting has happened in 2023, no question was asked. Meeting is happening in second year also. The probability of question being asked is high. Got it? Now, polity backgrounder, National Waterways Act 2016 was enacted to realize the potential of inland waterway. The progress, inland waterways as a topic gained some prominence during the Atal Bihari Vajpayee era. A visionary leader, a statesman, but no progress was happening. Okay, because no legal status was there. So that is why National Waterways Act was enacted to give legal status to waterways. Advantages associated with water transport, fuel efficient they are. Read these terms. Okay, 1 liter of fuel moves 105 ton kilometer by inland waterway compared to 85 ton kilometer by rail and 24 ton kilometer by road. So you see, we are saving a lot of fuel if inland waterways are put to use. Okay, cost effective cost of inland waterway transport is nearly 0.25 rupees per kilometer. This is your fodder material while writing any answer on advantages of waterways transport over other means of transport. You can use these things. Environment friendly, carbon dioxide emissions during inland transport are substantially lower than rail or other means of transport. Got it? So this is there. National Waterway Act, Inland Waterways Authority of India. IWAI was established in 1986, Rajiv Gandhi era. Okay. Then now recently Inland Waterways Development Council has been set up. How is this Inland Waterways Development Council different from Inland Waterways Authority of India? Remember guys, we are in the last leg of our lecture, another 4-5 minutes. Councils are always politically represented. Okay, chairperson of the council would be the minister in charge of that topic. Waterways, so water minister. Okay, water resources minister. Now, the chairperson of authority would be an IAS officer, a bureaucrat. It is an authority, administrative side. This is the policy making side of it. New schemes would be implemented by IWDC, the council, National Development Council. Okay, councils are represented by political leaders inadvertently, and these councils will be, I will answer the question on geography in 1 minute. Okay, these councils will have the membership of state ministers also. So Inland Waterways Development Council, Union Minister for Ports, Shipping and Waterways is the chairperson of the IWDC. Ministers of states and UTs and representatives of their union ministries, union ministers are also represented in the council. Got it? It is a policy making body, or authority is a policy implementing body always. These are India Yearbook type of questions which we struggle at the last leg of our preparation, a few months before the prelims, when it becomes very, very difficult to memorize these things. So we will be incorporating these things which are related to the topic of the day. Some news issue has appeared, so we will cover the backgrounders also. One-stop solution for your current affairs preparation. You struggle to cover, but here I am presenting in a very, very easy format, giving you the concept behind it, giving you the logic behind formation of authority, council, etc. Got it? Now, Indian economy, again some concepts would be involved. Industrial output grew by 5.2%. What is the basis on which we are saying? Index of industrial production is the basis on which we are saying that industrial output has grown by this thing. But this news clipping says that this is due to the base effect. Now, my dear students, what is base effect? Economy explainer, listen here. if your marks in 10th standard were lower, let's say your marks in 10th standard were 63%, but you happen to score well in 12th standard, better in 12th standard, let's say your marks were 67%. Are they good? Okay, let's talk about something else. Marks in 12th standard were 37%. Let's change the figures here. And marks in 12th standard were 10th standard were 33%. Is it a good performance according to you? No. But when seen independently, your performance in 12th standard would, when seen relatively to your performance of 10th standard, you have scored better than 10th standard. We will say that headline growth has been better. Your marks in 12th standard are better than your marks in 10th standard. This is because of the low base. Divide low base with the performance of this month. If the base is low, so low, the performance, even if marginally better, would seem to be better. That is why the Hindu has explained here, newspaper team has explained here, that even though the figures presented by National Statistical Office, who comes up with the IIP data, prelims ke liye, for prelims, this is important, Index of Industrial Production is brought about by National Statistical Office. Okay, even though prima facie, the data seems to be better, 5.8%, but because the data in the previous year 2024 was so low that it was 1.3%, this output of 2025 seems to be better. In January 2024, the IIP grew by just 1.3%. That is why the marginal increase in the IIP this year seems to be much better, even though it is not as rosy as it seems to be. Got it? Low base effect leads to performance looking better this year, even though it is not actually better. Got it? India's industrial output expanded 5.2% year on year basis compared to previous year. Compared to your marks in 10th standard, your marks in 12th standard are better, but actually they are not better. They are just 37% as we saw in the example. Got it? Now, what are the components of IIP? Index of Industrial Production comprises of 8 core industries. Why are they called as core industries? IIP comprises of all the industries. Okay, but core industries which are foundational industries for any other activity to happen. Okay, so petroleum and refinery. If petroleum and refinery production is increasing, that means transport activity is happening, more transport activity is happening. है ना? Where is petrol going to be stored? Why would anyone want to store petrol? Petrol is being produced only because of because of the reason that petrol and diesel related activity, gas consumption related activity is increasing. Likewise, electricity is being generated. Is somebody going to store electricity? No. Generation is increasing because consumption is increasing. Consumption is increasing in the factories, households, because factories are producing more. So, my dear students, these foundational 8 industries, if their activity increases as captured by IIP, that means that overall industrial activity is increasing. For example, this is the thermometer. If I were to assess the temperature of my body, I will keep the thermometer either here or under my tongue. These are the core areas from where we can assess the temperature of the body. Likewise, for the industrial economy of India, these are the core areas, barometers through which we could gauge the temperature of industrial activity in the country. Concepts, my dear students, are very, very important. You would struggle to mug up these things through your life. Try to see if you could apply some concept or logic to it. Once applied, you can take it to your prelims exam, to your mains, to your interview. Got it? Data keeps on changing. This is peripheral in nature, ephemeral in nature rather. Go for the eternal things in an eternal manner in order for memorizing or gaining some clarity for this exam, right? So this is there. Got it? Now see, coal production. If coal production is increasing, electricity generation is going to increase. If natural gas production is increasing, somewhere more turbines are working. If cement production is increasing, construction activity is going to increase, right? If fertilizer production is increasing, agricultural output is definitely going to increase. This is the barometer. This is how the barometer of index of industrial production helps us. Not only this, let's move to another interesting thing. First thing first, purchasing managers index. We will come across this purchasing managers index in the coming month. Okay, every month purchasing managers data index data is published. What is the meaning of purchasing manager? Manager who does the purchasing on behalf of company. If I'm working in a let's say textile company and I'm purchasing more of thread or cotton, that means I'm confident about the growth or order book. My order book is decent this month. I'm expecting more orders. That is why I am ordering more of raw material. So if purchasing managers data for December is good, it is likely that it is likely that index of industrial production for January would be good. Got it? Raw material being purchased in December would feed into the production of January. And if January data is good, December, January, February, GDP data for the quarter of March would be good. First, second leading to is equal to GDP data. If these two are positive, this third one would inadvertently be positive. Got it? Logically, this will be positive. So this kind of a question could be put in prelims, could be asked from you in the prelims. Okay, so this is there. Now, GS Mains Paper 3, another topic, why rupee is depreciating. Rupee depreciation, you don't have to bother yourself with data, what is the price of rupee. No, these things are not required. Reasons for the fall of rupee, surging crude oil prices. We are an importing country. We import crude oil from Saudi Arabia, Dubai, Gulf countries. Okay. So if we have to pay more for every barrel of crude oil, our rupee is falling outside, going outside the country. That would lead to fall in the value of rupee. Okay. Dollar strengthens on higher demand amid anticipation of trade curbs. Now USA says that it won't let dollar to go out. Import curbs have been put by Donald Trump. Okay, Donald Trump is not letting Americans to buy items from outside America. So that is why dollar would not come out of America. Many dollars would not flow out of American economy. This would further lead to scarcity of dollar. Scarcity of supply of dollar would go down. The curtailment of supply of dollar, scarcity of dollar would lead to increase in the price of dollar vis-a-vis Indian rupee, again leading to fall in the Indian rupee. Third, a strong greenback. What do we mean by greenback? I have mentioned here. Greenback means bill that we have to pay in dollars. The day before yesterday and yesterday also we saw that India has imported a lot of gold. Even though government was trying to suppress the figures, but if more gold is being purchased, that means India's import bill, which it has to pay in dollars. We pay for foreign purchase items purchased from foreign countries in dollars. So this India's greenback means bill of money that is represented in terms of dollars. Greenback. Why green color? Dollar was printed earlier in green color only. Okay. Even our Indian notes were printed in green color way back in 1990s. Majority of countries' currency is printed in green. So greenback means we have to pay bill in dollars. Persistent foreign institutional investors outflows. Institutional investors, after Donald Trump got elected, they are withdrawing money from India and other countries. So if more and more of dollar is being withdrawn, it is again leading to lack of supply for India, lack of supply of dollars for India to buy from. Got it? So demand and supply function. We will study this in economy somewhere else also. Okay, so this is there. Now coming to the MCQs. Shall I present MCQs or shall I not? Why am I asking? Because you guys don't answer. Don't be the passive learners, be the active learners. Many of you, I'm sure, would be sitting without your notebook in hand. Would be listening like this. This is of no use. You're preparing for an exam. Okay, you're not watching a television. Be sincere, otherwise quit the preparation. My words could be harsh, but they are for your betterment only. So Answer the questions even if you do not know the answers to. Try to find them out. You are in the age of internet. So with reference to Bharat poll, consider the following statements. I am quickly showing you the questions because of paucity of time. We have already exceeded the time limit. Second, with reference to, sorry, this question has got repeated. This, with reference to information commissions in India, consider the following statements. Which of the statements given above is or are, I mean, what has happened? Okay, there happens to be only one question for the day. Maybe the questions got eliminated in the process of sending the PPT, or last minute errors have happened. Just one question, please. Everybody should answer, right? That's all for the day. Thank you, guys. It was a pleasure teaching you. I would like to end with a quote here. If I am not for myself, who will be for me? If not now, when? Be selfish during the times of your preparation to the detriment of your household chores, whatever you are doing for your, small things you are bothering yourself with. Let them be aside for now. But you have to ask yourself another question. Are you doing justice with your studies? Would like to end with that. Thank you, guys.